they're in communication with air traffic control. So it's one of the professions you can think about. It's an interesting one, and yes, it gives you a challenge. But if you are up to the challenge, yes, what is the requirement for air traffic control? You're required to have done subjects like mathematics. Mathematics is a major subject if you're to do air traffic control. Mathematics, you can add on other subjects, say physics or geography, but mathematics is core. Then after you finish your A-level, you're required to do a degree. You can join any air traffic control school. You do training in school and also training on the job where you're handling live traffic. So air traffic controllers, after the training, they are licensed. You get a license through CAA, which allows you to practice. Because you're handling people's lives, we need to be sure that you know what you're doing. That is one other career in air traffic control. There is flight operations or dispatch. As you go through these stores, you'll see a number of schools which train flight operations or dispatch. You can find out from those different schools. There is Vina Academy here. There is, I saw Bar Training Academy. I saw, yes, Sorority Flying School, the East African Civil Aviation Academy. The number of schools here, you can find out what are their requirements to join flight operations. These are the people who plan the movement of aircraft. They file what we call flight plans. They plan that this aircraft will go to this destination. For example, an airline may have about 20 aircraft. So these are the people to plan that this one will go to this destination, this one to this one, at this time. They plan their movements. They are called flight dispatchers or flight operations officers. We have, and by the way, before I say more, any profession can join in aviation. For example, there are aviation lawyers. You first do a degree in law, then you can decide to specialize in aviation. There are aviation doctors who are actually on high demand. You can do your degree in medicine, then afterwards you join aviation as an aviation doctor. You can be an aviation instructor, you can be an aviation inspector. There are inspectors, safety inspectors. You'll see some of them around here. Those are the people that make sure that any aircraft that is going to fly is in good condition to fly. The people that are going to fly it are qualified to fly. Yes, as you can see, this is how we do our work. Yes, you see it. There are screens at the back. If you can turn and look at. Can you please replay that video? It is talking about air traffic control. From the start, yes. That is Uganda, our association. This is a small video to show you what air traffic control is. That is one of our female air traffic controllers. When she's on the desk, we write the information on every flight on those strips you see. I think it's also coming here. Yes, perfect. That is if she's an air traffic controller at Entebbe. Now, every aircraft that is flying, we write its information on those pieces of paper you see. This is the view of that runway when you're landing. So, when talking to the aircraft, you make sure that there is enough separation between them, either vertically or laterally. Yes, that is a small video where I was talking about air traffic control. Our role is to make sure that those aircraft are safe when they are flying, that they don't find bad weather, that they are separated from each other. You see those two, they are flying on the same route, but there should be a certain minimum separation between them. of 1,000 feet. That is how we separate aircraft. Or if they are flying besides each other, parallel to each other, there should be enough separation. So, I was still talking about air traffic control as we look at other carriers. I don't know if this video has sound. You would have listened on how the communication with the pilots is. That is Eve on duty. We have screens, radar screens, which show us the aircraft as they are flying. When we are controlling, that's how we do it. You listen in. That is the radio that she has. She's talking and she's listening in to the pilots. When any air traffic controller finds that strip, she will interpret the information and they will know what's happening with any aircraft. Even if that lady gets off the desk and another controller comes and sits on the desk, she will have a proper picture of what is happening in the airspace. That is the map of Uganda, as you can see. And we are able to see every aeroplane wherever it is flying from. Yes, continuing with the aviation carriers, I mentioned flight operations, I mentioned air traffic control. Yes, most of you know about air hostesses, air hosts and hostesses, or the cabin crew. These are people that make the passengers feel comfortable when they are flying. They make sure that the passengers are comfortable. They serve them, they attend to their requests. Every aircraft, it doesn't only have the pilots, but it has also cabin crew members. There are a number of schools. I saw Uganda Aviation School here, over there in the tent. They will guide you more about how to become a hostess or a cabin crew member. We have aeronautical engineers. These are people who design aircraft. They work on the mechanics of the aircraft. And related to the aeronautical engineers, we have aircraft maintenance engineers. These are the people that make sure that it's in good mechanical condition. As I was mentioning, the different aviation schools we have here, there is DAS Aviation School. Actually, it's located just as you enter this gate. Their school is just there near the airport. That is DAS Aviation Training Center. They have a number of courses. Their main course is the flight operations course, but they have other short courses, like courses in human factors, courses in fire fighting, airside safety, aviation security. All those are different fields you can consider. Aviation security. Every airport will have security. So you can be in that field as an aviation expert. You can be a firefighter. I think you've seen fire trucks around. Aviation, every airport must have a firefighting department. And they have a number of equipment that do that. I don't want to take a long time. I want to give you time to ask questions. Those of you that may have questions. There are airlines. Like you see Uganda Airlines, it has a number of departments. It has a ticketing department. It has a flight operations department. You can be in that field of ticketing where you can sell people tickets from wherever they are on different parts of the world. Then there are handlers. Yes, like in Entebbe we have a number of handlers. We have DAS is a handling company. These are the people that will receive you when you come to the airport. They check your passport. They make sure that you are the right person that is going onto that aircraft. They will make sure your luggage is safely onto the aircraft, and also when you arrive, it's got from the aircraft. They will make sure that they prepare the aircraft before it flies. Those are handlers. It's another field you can consider. We have airfield operations. There are airport designers. All those are different fields you can think about. We've talked about dispatchers, flight attendants, technicians. We've talked about marshalers. Have you seen when any aircraft is coming to park, those people that have reflectors and guide, they use signals as they guide in the aircraft to fly? They are called marshalers. You can be a marshaller, you can be an airport manager. Like I said, you can join aviation from any field. You can be a public affairs specialist and be a public affairs officer for aviation. You can be a manager, someone that does management, and you come and manage either an airline or any other aviation related field. I talked about aviation safety inspectors, aerospace engineers, air traffic controllers. Let me leave it at that and give a chance to people who want to ask questions. Any people with questions, please ask a question. And if I feel there is a person that can answer it better, I will call upon them. Yes, please. I don't know if we have a microphone that can move around, or you can shout and we hear you.
I can shout.
Please come closer. Yes, good afternoon. Okay, there is a microphone.
So the world has developed a sophisticated technology that's capable of flying a plane. Why is there more need of pilots in the sector of flying aircrafts?
Yes, why is there a need of pilots when technology is advancing? Much as technology is advancing, but there is something superior about the human brain. The pilots will tell you when they are flying, they can reach a point and they employ what they call autopilot. But then there are times when certain decisions have to be made by a human. Technology can replace certain parts of the human, but not everything. There are points where the human element is needed. Even in air traffic control, there have been debates about having air traffic control done by artificial intelligence, by machines, but there is a human element still that can't be replaced by technology. Any other question? I saw some 2 hands over there. Yes, please. Please pass on the microphone.
Good afternoon.
Yes, your name?
Please, Uwina Tawa Secondary School.
Yes, please.
So you told us about how if 2 aircrafts are flying in the same direction, they should be apart. But you didn't tell us the reason why they should be apart or not even close to each other. So what's the reason they should not be close to each other?
There are a number of reasons. Number one, these machines are moving at very high speeds. I don't know if you've sat in a car and it's moving at 100 kilometers per hour. It appears to be fast. Now these are machines that can move at 8 times that speed. You find an aircraft moving at 800 kilometers per hour. And remember, in the space, you cannot stop. The aeroplane cannot stop. It has to either be moving, or if it's not moving, it will be coming down. So there is little room for error. A pilot cannot wait until he sees another aircraft and tries to avoid it. By the time he sees another one, it's too late. So there is need to keep them separated. We separate them vertically. In the airspace, we have routes. These aeroplanes don't just fly anywhere. They fly on particular routes. So you may have about 5 aircraft on the same route, but when they are at different heights, One is at, say, 15,000 feet, another one is at 17,000 feet, another one 20,000 feet, and it's the air traffic controller that assigns them the altitude at which to fly. So the reason why we ensure that they are separated is because they move very fast. You can't wait for them to see each other so that they avoid each other. And when you're on the road, you can see another car and you stop. But in the air, you won't stop. It has to continue moving. So there should be someone helping them to be separated from each other. You will find someone to descend coming into the airport, others are climbing, others are at level flight. All that is happening in the airspace. So if there is no one to ensure that they are separated, you would be hearing of many accidents. Actually, air transport is taken to be the safest means of transport because it's highly regulated. We ensure that as they fly, they're in good condition, they are separated from each other. We warn them about the weather so that they avoid it. All that is embedded in aviation. I don't know if your question is answered. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Yes, please. Please pass on the microphone.
Yes. Recently, you told us about this app, which was Flight Radar 24. Now, my question is, isn't it at a risk of terrorism?
Flight Radar 24, that is an app which shows any aircraft wherever it is flying, and it is open to the public. It is on Play Store, anyone can download it and see any aircraft that is flying wherever. And he's asking whether it's not a security threat. Well, if you talk about terrorism, there are many other avenues those terrorists can get to know about the movement of aircraft. So this is not really a threat, because even if it was not there, if the terrorist wants to do something and goes through the other safety nets, first of all, you should know that there are many safety nets that try to block all that from happening. So if a terrorist manages to go through all those safety nets, whether there is that app on the phone or not, they will do anything. But gladly, we have those safety nets. I told you about safety nets. I told you about aviation security. They ensure that enough is done to arrest all possible eventualities like that. So it's not really a threat. Any other question? Yes, please.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, your name?
My name is Katuma Elvis.
Yes, Elvis.
My question is, I heard that pilots, when they are learning piloting, they pay quite a lot of money.
Yes.
Now, my question is, how much do they earn per flight?
That's to study piloting, you pay a lot of money.
Yes.
And it's true, you pay a lot of money everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
So you're asking how much they earn.
Yes.
Now that's a hard question because there is no standard salary for a pilot or for any other aviation career. There is no standard salary. It depends on a number of factors, which company you're flying for, where you're flying to. There are a number of factors. Actually, there are a number of pilots around here, but even if you ask them and they are able to tell you, their salaries are different. There is no standard salary. So your question doesn't have a single answer. They vary as much as possible. You can interact with the pilots around. If they are able to tell you, they will tell you that the different airlines will pay different amounts.
Okay. Another question.
Yes, please.
Does the salary a pilot paid depends on those lines they have on the shoulders?
If you've gone to these stores, those training schools will tell you that the number of licenses that a pilot gets. The first license is what we call a private pilot's license, the PPL. That one is flying for private work, not commercial. The next license is a commercial pilot's license. And there is what they call an instrument rating. There is what they call an airline transport pilot's license, and many others. And even when you have those licenses, the type of aircraft you fly, as you've seen, there are smaller aircraft, there are bigger ones. You have to get, your license has to be endorsed for each of those aeroplanes. You don't say, just like on the road, that if I drive a Primo, I can go and drive a Benz, then I can go and drive a Range Rover. It's not the same with aircraft. For each aircraft you fly, you have to be licensed for that particular one. Your license has to be endorsed for that particular aircraft. So when you ask whether the payment depends on the number of ratings you have, yes, that is partly true. The more ratings you have, the more chances of a higher pay. Because, yes, you have more experience than the other one who has less ratings. Even in air traffic control, we have a number of ratings. We have 5 ratings, and each of these bars represents a rating. So, of course, with every rating comes better benefits. I hope your question is answered. Someone had a hand over here. Yes, please. Andrew, please, wherever you are, let me know when my time is up, because people are asking questions. Yes, please.
I'd like to ask a question about the air controller. What if he makes a miscalculation? What can be done to prevent an accident? Because everyone can make a mistake.
Very good question. We have something we call the 4I principle. The 4I principle. What do we mean by the 4I principle? Every air traffic control position must have 2 people at any given time. Those are 4 I's. Why 2 people? Because if this one makes an error, the other person will be able to see that error and correct it. But the good thing also in aviation, there are a number of safety nets. If still an air traffic controller made a mistake and puts aircraft at the same level and they come close to each other, there is a system which we call the TCAS, the Traffic Collision Avoidance System, which will alert the pilots that you're coming too close to one another. That system is also embedded in the aircraft, each of them. So if it gets so bad, that system will even give instructions to the pilots. It's called a TCAS RA. They will guide them that you descend or you climb. They will be guided. But that comes in extreme conditions. And it rarely happens because there are air traffic controllers doing their work. But much as there is that system, you may ask, if there is that system, why would we need air traffic controllers? Much as there is that system, there is still a human element that is needed. I don't know if your question is answered. Okay, thank you. Any other question? Please pass on the microphone. There are 2 hands over there. Yes, please.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes. Okay, my question is it true that
when you wanna play, are you supposed to switch off your mobile phone?
Usually when you board an aircraft, you are advised to switch off your mobile phone because mobile phones use wave technology, and also the systems of the aircraft use wave technology. So it is said that the waves can interfere with those of the aircraft. I don't know whether my brother Captain Aziz is anywhere close. He would throw more light on that. But you're asked to switch off your mobile phone so that you don't interfere with the aircraft systems. And always when you board, please, when that time comes and you're told to switch off your mobile phone, do so for your own safety and for the safety of the rest of the passengers. I saw another hand somewhere there.
Good
Yes,
afternoon,
please.
sir.
Good afternoon. Your name?
Now, what I want to know, like, what is the clear definition of aviation?
What is the clear definition of aviation? Well, I've not read that definition of aviation, but aviation is about aircraft movement, is about flying aircraft and every other thing that comes with it. That is aviation. Everything about aeroplanes and their movements is aviation. Thank you. Any other before I call back the MC here? Any other question? Please raise your hand. There is a hand over there.
Like, I have a question.
Yes, please.
At what height of the, like, let's say the atmosphere does the aeroplane end on? Like, we have the thermosphere, stratosphere, like, what sphere specifically?
Wow. I don't know where you got those terminologies. Yes, those terminologies are part of the atmosphere, but I'll not give you which sphere it ends, but usually aircraft movement takes place up to about 60,000 feet. Up to about 60,000 feet. Most of these big jets, they fly at around 40,000 feet, 35,000, between the 30s and 40,000s. Then very special ones can go beyond 50,000, but the maximum would be 60,000 feet above mean sea level. We call it flight level 600. There was a hand over there. Some lady was putting up a hand. Please pass on the microphone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon.
I was asking what happens when my name is Nausota Station.
This station.
Yeah. I was asking what happens when the mobile phone wave technology interferes with the aircraft's wave.
What happens when it interferes? I need to research on that. I have not found out what happens, but probably the systems may not work, and when any system gets off, that is a hazard. It can cause an accident. I want to think so. There's a hand over here. Yes, please.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, your name?
My grand Oscar.
Yes, please.
I was asking that what is that stuff when a person is suffering from AIDS, when he or she was in that plane, what happens?
When someone is suffering from?
HIV or AIDS.
Yes.
what's the effect when he or she puts the plane?
Having HIV or AIDS doesn't stop you from flying. You are normal like any other person, except if you have other conditions that are accompanying that HIV. For example, if you have high blood pressure or something that is accompanying that HIV, you may be affected. Of course, even people with high blood pressure fly, but basically, having HIV doesn't stop you from flying. People fly. Though, if you are the one flying the aircraft, like as a pilot, we need to ensure that you're not stressed, because when you have stress or depression, you may cause an accident. So it's only other effects that may come with that HIV that may affect your flying. But as a passenger, nothing stops you. Yes, please.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I would like to ask, what if the co-pilot and the main pilot get a problem? What will happen to the airplane?
Very good question. Now, you've seen different sizes of aeroplanes, and most of the aeroplanes you see, it is required that there is more than one pilot, that there are at least two pilots at any time. Now, unless it would be a very big coincidence for both pilots to get a problem at the same time, it would be a very big coincidence. It rarely happens. But I heard of a story of one aircraft which had one pilot. It was a small aircraft. It had one pilot, and the pilot fainted. But the good thing, there was someone brave who was on board. He went, he was able to call air traffic control. At least he was able to tell that this is a radio. When I talk, someone will hear me. So he talked to air traffic control and told them, someone has fainted. The pilot has fainted. What do I do? So the air traffic controllers on ground organized very fast. The good thing, one of the air traffic controllers on duty that they had piloting knowledge, he guided him on what to do. Touch this button, do this, and the guy managed to land it safely. But like I said, usually most of those aircraft have more than one pilot, two or more. So if one gets a problem, at least the other one will save the situation. Okay, yes please.
So I have two questions.
Yes please.
You are a pilot.
I'm an air traffic controller.
Oh, so okay. So what challenges do pilots face, and what's the highest speed that any pilot has ever flew a plane at?
What challenges do pilots face? A pilot will come here and answer that question. What challenges they face? I don't know whether you mean with the companies they work for, or when they are up there in the skies. Are you still able to hear me? Please wave at me if you can hear me. Okay. You asked what is the highest speed a pilot has ever got. Speed. The highest speed. Oh. Now, when you're in school, you study about the speed of sound. Does anyone know the speed of sound? What is the speed of sound? Yes, your hand is up. Tell me the speed of sound. I don't hear you. Use the microphone.
330 meters per second.
330 meters per second. That is the speed of sound. Now, most of the passenger aeroplanes fly at a speed just below the speed of sound. For example, if the speed of sound is 330 meters per second, when you translate that to kilometers, It may be about 1,000 kilometers per hour or something like that. That is about 600 miles per hour. So the speed of sound is about 600 miles per hour. But most aircraft fly at around 450, 500 miles per hour. That is slightly below the speed of sound. But there are some special ones like this. You saw that Air Force jet that was flying around. It can fly faster than the speed of sound. At a speed twice the speed of sound. That is at about 1,200 miles per hour. That is quite a high speed. So some of those military jets are made with the ability to fly at, we call it a supersonic speed. A speed which is greater than the speed of sound. So very few aircraft do supersonic. There used to be a passenger aircraft which used to fly supersonic, but it was decommissioned. It was called the Concorde. Did you hear of the Concorde? It would fly at a speed greater than the speed of sound. Now that is really a high speed. And currently I think there is no passenger aircraft that flies at a speed greater than the speed of sound. Only those military ones. Any other question? Okay. I don't know if there is any question from this side. Those who are not students, feel free to ask a question if you also have one. Okay, thank you very much. We shall leave it at that. Andrew, wherever you are, Mr. Andrew Chamagero, you can come and tell us what is next. Andrew, where are you? In the meantime, the band can be playing something as Andrew comes. Thank you very much for listening to me. God bless you. If you've not seen some of these stores, please feel free to move around and find out as much as you can. Aviation, remember, aviation is a growing industry, especially in our country. So feel free to find out as much as you can. God bless you. Thank you, Andrew.
Let's give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Now that is air traffic from DAS Air. They're usually known for handling cargo. They train, and after they train you, they give you what they call hands-on training and on-job training. Let me request Mr. Ismail from DAS to come and share with you how they work. Please ask as much questions as you have so that you make sense of this. Let's clap for him as he makes his way here. Ismail is going to tell us why you must get into DAS handling and what makes it unique.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How are you today? My name is Ismail Hussein Ali. I am the marketing officer of DAS Aviation School. It's a pleasure having you today here, and I welcome you to the Uganda Aviation Expo 2023. We are so happy to have you and also share with you about aviation. You know, most of us, especially right from school or childhood, we don't get exposed to such opportunities. So I think today it's an opportunity, and as an event, it's also a great exposure for all of us. Yeah, so allow me to talk about DAS Aviation School. DAS Aviation School is an approved training organization by the Uganda Civil Aviation Authority. Our item number is 38. And also we are certified by the International Air Transport Association under two umbrellas, that's the ATS and ATC. So under the ATC, That's IATA Authorized Training Center. It allows us to train different major courses like airline cabin crew, airport operations, airline customer service, among others. Then the ATS, we are CBTI, that's a competency-based training assessment for corporate and provider. That means we are Center for Dangerous Goods. We train airlines, other companies as well. So we are so far leading in Uganda, and we're happy to have that. Das Aviation School is located at Sabegwa Drive, just this gate, you know the gate you've used today. There's an orange building next to it. It's having Das Aviation School. You can visit us always. Well, when you look at aviation, most people think it's about piloting or maintenance engineering or aeronautical. But aviation is more than that. Aviation is a system. Okay? The way you can have different system. Okay, in a school, let's say, a school setting, the way you have teachers, the way you have buses, the way you have a head teacher, okay, that means they work together. So in aviation, if you have, let's say, pilots and engineers, then who does the rest of the work? That means there is a gap, okay? Then with that gap, there are so many courses or careers that you can take on, okay? So in those careers, we have so many courses like flight operations. The other name for flight operations is dispatch. These are people who prepare our flights. So let's say you want to go from Uganda to, let's say, Dubai. Okay, there are people who prepare flights. They prepare documentation, the routes. Some people wonder, how do aircraft fly? Do they have routes in the air? That's how some people call it. So they are called routes. So they need to be planned because we have so many aircrafts passing in the different airspaces. So they need to make sure there is a minimum separation on all that. So there are people who specialize in that area. They help the pilots to do the planning to the different destinations. They are called dispatchers. So that's a career that you can take on. And at Das Aviation School, we do 9 months. 6 months of class and 3 months of internship. That's the on-job training. Then we have what we call airport operations. This focuses on basically operations and planning of an airport. If you vision to be a leader or work in an organization that regulates or an airline, it's the best course for you. Let's say you want to work, let's say like an organization like the Uganda Civil Aviation Authority, you have to take a course called airport operations because it entails the management, the different facilities at the airport, how do you prepare, how do you ensure that the flights are facilitated in the best way, ensuring that the customer service is provided and at its utmost level, okay? It has a number of modules or subjects. It has security, safety, it has understanding the airport as an operational system. So it gives you the understanding of the whole airport system. Then later you can specialize or you can decide to specialize. You can go in safety or security or in management after you do that course. It's also 9 months. We give 6 months of class, 3 months of internship. Then we will have what we call airline customer service, where you get to learn the different customer service provided for an airline. Let's say people who welcome you at airports, there's what we call the check-in, where we receive your ticket to give you a boarding pass. So it's done by an airline customer service. You welcome your passengers, verify their tickets, among other things. Then with this course you can also be a cabin crew if you study it. So it's a 4-month course, then plus the 3 months of on-job training, which makes it 7 months. Then we have what we call airline cabin crew, which most of the ladies like. Yeah, that's a career. Basically, your area of work is safety, ensuring there is safety in flight. Most people think that cabin crews are waitresses. No. Their main objective is to ensure that their passengers are they are comfortable, they are well taken care of, and in case of an emergency, they are able to give first aid or attend to them as the flight reaches its destination or comes back to save a life. Okay? Then serving is another part of the cabin crew. Since they are in the service industry, they are expected to serve their passengers. So that course is also 9 months, 6 months of class and 3 months of internship. We have cargo introductory, that's cargo handling, exports, imports, also how to do let's say documentations. You want to send goods from Uganda to Dubai, how do you send? Who handles? So you get to learn that. It's a diploma. It's also for 8 months. 5 months of class and 3 months of internship. We offer on-job training to all our students to ensure that they are competent enough to work in a field. Okay? We don't let our students just study from class and we leave them suspended. So after the class, we take them for on-job training where they get the skills they require to work, and of which we give them a chance for employment. If you perform well, you have a higher chance of being retained, okay? But it's not guaranteed. That means you need to work for it. You get it? So those are main courses. Then we have Foundation in Travel and Tourism Diploma, where you learn ticketing, a bit of aviation management and tourism. That course is 7 months plus 3 months of internship. Then lastly, we have ticketing. So here you get to learn how to issue tickets, verifying, there's what we call blocking, among other things. Okay, those are the main courses you can do. So who can do these courses or offer these courses? As per the standards of DAS Aviation School, our minimum is Senior 6. Okay, you need to have a Senior 6, at least 1 principal pass, okay? Then O-level you must have passed very well. If you've not attained that, then you will need to work in further, okay? So, I would love to encourage you. I know there are so many industries. Aviation is one of the growing industries in Uganda. Not everyone knows. So we are growing. That means there will be a demand for people to come and work. So I would love you guys, as the young people, to embrace it, to take it into hand. I know most people say aviation is expensive, but I believe that it's not about the money, it's about the passion. You need to have passion for what you love. Trust me, irrespective of where you come from, whether you've come from a hardball background or call it whatever it is, you get. So it's not all about how much you have, but how much you love, because anyone can attain that. Okay? I would encourage you to work hard so that you can be among one of the professionals in aviation. I know some of you love to be pilots, but don't have the capacity to do that. But trust me, if you have the passion, you get to meet different people who can support you. Okay, don't sit down and say, because I can't afford such kind of course, you sit behind and say, it's not made for me. That's not part. You need to motivate yourself. Follow up, do research. Trust me, at the end of the day, you may not even pay any single coin, but you attain that goal. You get? Yeah, I wouldn't love to say much. I would love to welcome questions. Anyone with a question? Please feel free, because the floor is yours.
There is a question by show of hands. You have a question? They don't be taken there or okay, there is a question.
Here.
Okay, my name, my name is Promise. My question is, what is the meaning of DAS? What is it in full? And Fred was asking, you guys will teach pilots?
Okay, DAS in full is Dairo Air Services. DAS used to be an airline, a cargo handling. We used to have flights for cargo. Okay, so DAS in full is Dairo Air Services. Dairo is a combination of Daisy and Roger. Yeah, it's a lovely name, right? Currently, we don't offer piloting, but it's in pipeline.
Any other question?
So, thank you for your presented question is, since you are a marketing, so what makes you so good at your job compared to other people?
What makes me so good at my job? The part about what I love about my job is I love selling quality. Okay, it's not all about coming and telling you come and join this aviation or do aviation just for the sake. The part of my job is I love people to know the quality of work that's out there. It may not be basically aviation, but anything that is good, I would love the public to know so that it's to your benefit. Okay, I love making people happy. That's one of the things that made me join this department. Does that answer your question?
Well, it's about to answer my question. So, the people that you have trained under DAS Aviation School, how would you rate them on a scale of 1 to 10?
Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, I won't say 10 out of 10 because they're human beings. For us as a school, we do our part to train them. But I'll rate it out of 8. Okay? Because we are human beings, irrespective, I know there are schools that have free, but we give you the quality, but how the person receives it now reflects back. You get? So you cannot train someone and expect them to be 100%. Of course, there is that little or that error in it. So we are not. I'm not saying we are perfectionists, but we do our best.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have any other question? That is the very last question. Let's give him the mic. It's 5 p.m. Thank you for
My name is Katuma Elvis. My question is, I heard that there are military guards. I don't know how true that is, but if the military guards are there, do they also have to pass through the aviation schools?
You mean about the military pilots?
Yes.
They have a different setting. I'm not the best person to answer, but I'll try. They have a different setting because of the military. I think you need to go through their training, and they have their own specialized ways of training. So you need to actually see someone from UPDAF so that they can advise you properly.
All right, let's clap for Ismail. That was amazing. It's 5 p.m. and I want to appreciate all of you for coming. Those who came from Kampala, from City Square, your double-deck bus is already here and it's half full. So if you're one of those nga wazanye bus yavudde ku City Square, enatera okujjula, so kindly go there and make sure you align. We have this expo, it's going up to Saturday. If you're one of those who have friends and family, tell them to come through that we can enjoy and learn more. On Saturday we shall have Air Rwanda and Uganda Airlines will be exhibiting as well, using the Bombardier to take 70 plus people to have an experience of the flight. For now, the Warriors Band is going to entertain us until when we leave. Thereafter, the DJ from Loud will play for us Amapiano. The now generation love that kind of music. We shall listen to that and then we leave. But thank you so much for coming today. Thanks for being part of this. Those who are still going to take the flights, stay.